Hello, it is a pleasure to be here again on the program Nigeria Now, where we discuss everything, especially in regards to security, education, economics, politics, and many other, aspects looking at what can actually affect the country, and then you can actually be part of the conversation here because it's a conversation that is not just limited to us here in the studio, but also to our viewers that are watching us live. So you can watch us live on Facebook and also drop your comment, your views on any of the issue we will be bringing to the table this afternoon. I am Sarah Elisha Dasham, and I'll be doing the program with Rachel Tansey. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sarah.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. How about you?
Fabulous. I'm great. All right, we have a number of things we'd love to look at, especially one of the things we will be looking at this afternoon is the issue of security. I mean, Nigeria has been thrown into a lot of chaos lately. Starting from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we've been having a pocket of killings down to abduction of schools and also IDPs. And I think it's important that we bring it to the forefront this afternoon so we can actually discuss it, Rachel. Now, we're seeing in regards to all of this unrest that have been going on in the country, from what we saw happening from the abduction of those women in the IDP camps in Borno, and then we saw the kidnapping of the students in Kaduna State, and then we're seeing that on Sunday there was killings of about 7 persons in Wase local government area. And the sad fact is the fact that that killing took place in the broad daylight at around 2 p.m. while these people were actually buying and selling in Wase of Plateau State. Now, in the midst of all of this chaos, we're seeing that Afenifere, that's talking about a pro-pan Yoruba group, have actually told the president that, you know what, it's high time you tackle these people because we're tired of them, getting away with things, and we think it's high time the federal government go after these terrorists. And I remember we started the conversation in the morning, but I think it's important that we lay so much emphasis on what part the government is playing in all of this thing. We made mention of the fact that it's high time the government treat these people as the terrorists and the enemy of the country that they are, rather than pampering them and making them feel that they can have a swell day. We've seen facts where these people are making quite a number of money. They're actually cashing out every day, and we're saying that, today, this morning, you and I were actually looking at the outrageous price that they're asking for, a sum of over 40 trillion naira. That is even more than the 2024 budget, and they're going to look at the Hilux or the motorbikes they asked for. And then among that, we've seen that in the past they've even asked for drugs, they've asked for motorbikes, they've asked for foodstuff, and all of this. And then you just can't help to ask the question, what is the government of Nigeria doing presently? How are they treating them? Of course, yesterday we saw where there was success coming from the police, where they killed about 20 IPOP and then were able to destroy 50 of where they actually reside. But beyond just destroying, beyond getting or actually bringing back these people, what are the steps that the government really need to put in place? Because I think it's high time the government start talking and start acting. And I think this is what a lot of Nigerians are looking for, to see the political will coming from our government, not just you saying that you condemn this act, but then showing that you actually care about the lives of Nigeria. Because we're seeing parents are even scared of their words in school, because you never can tell how safe students are present in school, because we see that it's more like they have this peculiar approach. Today they are kidnapping students, next time they're going to a tertiary institution, before realizing they're in the IDP camp. No place has been left untouched by these terrorists. So now, looking at what these Afenifere are asking of the federal government, and I think not only them, a number of people have come out in various address. Khan have spoke about it. A number of bodies have come out. We've even seen Gumi coming out to say that, you know what, he thinks that the president should actually have a dialogue with them and not trade in the same path that the former president have actually traded. Then, Richard, do you think that is the best approach right now? Dialogue?
Of course not, Sarah. Like, what are you going to dialogue on? We've talked about this like several times, and not to discredit our defense agencies and all of that. It's important to record some level of success when it comes to IPOP. If there are a menace in a region, of course it's important that the people of that region to be protected and be kept safe, and then also to curtail them, because either way they are a problem in the society at the level they are. However, I want to see more success with the real problem concerning security in Nigeria. And is IPOB going to spread beyond the region it is? I don't think so. If it would have, we would have had IPOB attacks in Plateau, would have had IPOB attacks in the northwest, the northeast, would have had IPOB attacks in the west. Do you understand? But it has been in a particular region. Why I'm saying I need to see the government and our defense headquarters gloating over successes of banditry rather than IPOB. I'm not trying to say that work is rubbish or no. Have banditry spread? Yes. Have farmers herdsmen clash spread? Yes. Did Boko Haram terrorism in Nigeria spread? Yes. It started in Borno. We've had series of bomb attacks on the plateau. We've had that in Kaduna State. We've had that in the Federal Capital Territory when it was at its peak. Have banditry spread? Yes. We're having it all over. We're having it in Nasarawa. We're having it on the plateau. We're having it in Zamfara. We're having it in Katsina. We're having it in Kaduna. We're having it in Benue. We are having it spreading. And it's a matter of fact, whether they like it or not, it is going to go down to where it's expected to stay, because this is terrorism and they have an agenda. They have what they want to achieve at the end of the day. The question is the government doing any, or what are they doing about it? I don't want to say they are not doing anything about it, but the truth is that what are they doing about it? They are pampering these people. That's what they are doing. They are pampering them, because you know what? When they asked for Indomie, they got it. When they asked for spaghetti, they got it. When they asked for codeine, they got it. When they asked for weed, they got it. When they asked for money, they got it. And clearly, these are people with no agenda than to destroy lives and property. But for some reason, our government is pampering them and trying to dialogue with them. What are you going to dialogue with them? That you kidnap this student on world basis. The land is not your own. The school is not your own. The pupils are not your own. There's no solid mineral in that place that you feel as the people of that community you are not benefiting from it. What are you? The question is to ask the government or whoever are the people deciding to dialogue with these people, what are you going to, what is your negotiation? What is it going to be like? And then you can't help but wonder, are our government stupid? Or don't they know what they are doing? Or is a common man wiser than the government of Nigeria? And of course not. We keep saying it, you have better resources, you have access to information, to data, you have everything at your disposal. How? How in the world do you want us to believe that you cannot outsmart these people and do better than them? And this is where the challenge is for me, because clearly we have a government pampering them. Okay, if they move in routes that you do not know, for example, what about the weapons? These are heavy things. You can't move them undetected. It means somebody ignored the movement. How? How do such weapons? We will see how they are loaded, and we keep saying they have more firepower and ammunition, more than our police, military, and all of that, which is sad, by the way. But how did they move it? Such things cannot be moved like if human beings are moving on their legs and following, woods and all of that. We can say they could be undetected. But what about these weapons? How are they being moved? They are not tiny things that you will say somebody slipped it in their bags and just move past you. How are they moving it? So if one can be undetected, the other is not undetected. So who allowed it in the first place? It means the security measures that are supposed to be put in place have not been put in place, has not. So far, so good. And that is why we are keep seeing an increase and them getting away in it. It means ever since we will put them to book, we will put them to book and all of that, nothing has been done. Nothing has been done. We have few once in a while, maybe at most twice a year, custom intercepts weapon. But we know that there are thousands and thousands of weapons being moved and getting to these people. So if in a whole year we only see 1 or 2 interceptions of weapons, it means 100 others have moved and successfully gotten to its destination. So it means nothing whatsoever has been put in place. It means nobody is working. That's what it means. All we see is the little charades and show of, you know, the small work that is being done, the very tiny work that is insignificant. If the significant job was done, over 200 students will not be abducted as if it was just
transporting chickens from one part of the country to another.
Exactly. It means nothing is being done. So what is they are not doing anything. If we're going to tell ourselves the truth, if we're going to call the government to book, they are not doing anything. That is the fact concerning security in this country, and it's because these criminals know that the government is not doing anything. That is why they keep going out and being successful, making demands, because they know they will get away with it. For all these years they've been getting away with it. Why are they still getting away with it if something is being done? Then it means nothing is being done, because we should have recorded some amount of success from the time we have started seeing these things happening till now. So the government is doing nothing about it, and they are gloating over the little percentage. Just as I said, I'm not going to say what they are doing is not, but compared to the real work, they are doing a very small amount of that work. And face the one that is spreading across the country. That is the real threat to insecurity. For IPOB is also, I believe, is politics. If you want an end to it, it should be gone, because it hasn't spread. It has remained in a region. So it tells you that these people these are the people you might even want to dialogue with, because they've remained in one place. They've said they've set out, this is what we want, and their word concerning what they want haven't changed for years. But we have people, we have terrorist group and gangs taking different forms, shape, without any agenda, and yet you want to dialogue with those people, and they've been taking different form, and all they've been doing is the same thing without any aim. Well, they do have an aim though, but you can see how it's going and it's spreading. That is the real threat. That is the big thing. That is where we need to come and see that you have destroyed the headquarters that was hosting over 200 bandits, terrorists, unknown government, herdsmen, and all of that. And then because they are spreading, and then we'll be able to say, yes, you know what, we're making headway and all of that. But until we decide to do the real work, I believe the government is not doing anything, and we will probably be where we are for a long time if nothing is being done.
Of course, Richard, because you know what, if you ask me, I think that everybody is responsible for what is happening. And when I mean everybody, let's take a look at how did you made mention of the fact that we've seen where the weapons are being intercepted, and then compare with what is out there, we'll see that nothing whatsoever has been covered. Now, how did these weapons get into the country? I don't believe that they develop wings, Rachel.
Of course not.
They were being they use either air, road, or water. And we have security operatives at each of those places. So the question will be, how did it pass? That is to say, we have snitches in custom.
We do.
Either we have snitches in Navy. That is to say that almost every of our security outlets is corrupt.
Yeah.
That is the only way we can see that these things are being moved in. If not, how else can you explain the fact that they still have possession of this weapon? We saw some of our papers this morning having the picture of some of the sophisticated weapons they're having. And Richard, if you take just one of those weapons, you know how much each of it will cost. I will talk about the bullets that are in each of those. So just like you rightly mentioned, I think the government really need to change their priorities. It's obvious. You made mention of the fact that they are focusing on IPOB. And of course, we know that we are not encouraging what IPOB are doing. I mean, we keep saying the fact that to united, we can actually fight the common enemy. But when we are divided, divided. It's more like we are being distracted and we cannot really face what is on ground. So I believe that the government needs to get their priorities right. If only we are ready, and just like I keep using that word, we need to lock horns to break horns. And I think what Gumi is saying concerning negotiating, honestly, I do not think the government have anything to negotiate.
Yeah,
but I do not know the way they intend to actually go about this. But I keep saying, if you have been trying the same method over and over and over, and then you've not recorded any success, then it's high time you change your approach. Possibly you'll be able to record success. Now, still in line with that, we're seeing that the president is saying he will fix the issues of the herders farmers crisis in 3 weeks. And he made mention of this during the launching of the, what are we going to call it, a program that was being launched in Niger State by the governor Bagu, where he was looking into, into agriculture, farming, so we can have so much of food to eat and also so much to export. But the question here is, if the president is asking for so much land from the governors, and he said he needs 3 weeks, if he's able to get that, to be able to fix this, what happened to all those years where we've been having clashes coming from herders? Because this whole issue of insecurity started from as little as it's either a cattle was being killed because it was consuming a farmer's crop, and then the herders came back to revenge, and it was more like a revenge, and then we've seen that it has escalated, and it's now what we have seen it to be a full-blown crisis presently. Now, how is the president hoping to achieve that? Because, Rachel, we have so many farmlands that have been abandoned. And of course, you and I know that every land belongs to the government. Even if you buy the land and you build a house, you keep paying a certain amount of revenue back to the government, because every land belongs to the government. But how do the president, because I know he needs the support of the governors, he needs the support of the chairman, because you can't just go to somebody's farmland without a chairman, without the councillors, without so many of these things. So how is the president hoping to achieve this? Because, of course, 3 weeks is just like 3 hours or even 3 minutes. Before you realize the 3 weeks is gone.
Yeah.
And the question Nigerians will be asking, how is the president hoping to achieve this in the next 3 weeks? Because you're saying 3 weeks is richer. It's more like saying from now to like 3rd April.
Yeah.
So what are we saying?
I mean, I wish the governors would be bold enough to dare the president and say, okay, we've given you this land. Let's see what you can do in 3 weeks. Even if a land is given to President Tinubu, he's not going to do anything about the farmers' herders' crash. Just as you try taking it back to where it started, let's take it back to the beginning. My question is, who is the troublemaker? The one who has the issue, rather, or just as I put it, who is the troublemaker? The one who let their livestock go into a farm and eat the crops of a farmer and made the farmer lose money and all of that, or the one who decided to punish the person who first did them wrong? It's a retaliation. If your cattle didn't go in and eat any crop, they won't die in the first place. So the question is, why did you allow them to eat what they're not supposed to eat? They're supposed to eat grass. Okay, fine. You want to spoil your cows. Let them eat maize. Let them eat better food. Why is it not the one you planted? Why are they eating someone else's crops and grain without permission? So when you look at it, who is out for trouble from the beginning? So why are we trying to look at the person who retaliated? This is how it is, right? Let's talk about self-defense. You can plead a case even if you kill someone, Sele. As long as this person came to your house, it's not you that went to meet the person. You can walk out of a court as a free person, because who brought the attack to you? Your actions will be out of self-defense. A thief comes into your house and you were able to fight with that armed thief, and then you ended up killing the person, and you are the one safe. When you go to the court of law, you can walk out a free person, because first of all, you were not the one that went to the person's house. This person broke into your house trying to steal from you, and for some reason God gave you the victory over that person, and the person ended up a dead person. It's the same thing. Who is really the culprit, even if we are to trace it back from the beginning? Those cows are not meant to eat my maize on my farm. They're not supposed to eat my rice. They are not supposed to eat my grains whatsoever. And so when they end up eating what is not their own, and if it kills them, it is the herder that killed his cow. It is not the farmer. It's not the farmer. I didn't kill your cow because I'm not the one who told the cow to eat my crops. So when we sit down and we are still seeing the problem as it is, and you are refusing to attack it as it is, these people, just as I said in the morning, a nomadic farmer, they won't stay in one place. What they want is what they are doing. And until you treat them as who they are, that is nothing but terrorists, just causing havoc in the community, you will not, you will give them the land, and you know what, they will leave the land you've given them. They will go and terrorize another farmer's land because they are not farmers. They don't know how to toil the ground. That is not who they are. This is cattle rearing, and they move from one place to another, free grazing. The moment you put them in one place, it's no longer free grazing for them. It will still be one problem after another. So let President Tinubu face this problem, what it is and truly how it is. Governors giving you land will not solve this thing in 3 weeks. It didn't start in 3 weeks. It won't end in 3 weeks. This has been going on for years. And until you dig deep on what is truly the problem, let's be honest to yourself, President Tinubu, what truly is the problem. If you're willing and ready to face the problem as it is and solve it as it is, then we'll make way. But even if governors decide to say, let's give you land, you will not solve anything in 3 weeks. That's the reality. And that's the problem we have with our leaders. They play politics over everything. It didn't start in 3 weeks. It will not end in 3 weeks. It will not end in 3 weeks, yes.
Of course, Richard, even though the president said he have a lineup of programs he hoped to unveil, and that is what will actually bring about this peace between the farmers and herders. But we've all mentioned the fact that we've seen where even herders walk around with guns, even while rearing their cows. And then if you try to talk to them, I think I've had an encounter with the herders before while trying to till the ground, and then we and then they were very aggressive.
Yes,
so this is not something like saying they say or them say. This is something I have encountered. So I really know what I'm saying when we talk about the issue of this herders and farmers clash or crisis, because we keep saying it's not a clash, it's attack or whatsoever. We just hope that we see them for who they are, and I hope that there's a better program that the president has on his sleeves. Now, just to round it up, I think our time is fast spent. It's the fact of we're seeing that the Senior Staff Association of the Nigeria University and the non-academic staff union are saying that they have not been treated fairly. We will recall 2022 there was a strike, and we're saying that the ASU and together with they have been paid their 4 months arrears salary that they have not been paid. But the Senior Staff Association of Nigeria University felt they have not been given that, and then also talking about the non-academic staff union, say the salaries have been withheld. And I think they gave a 1 week notice to the government to pay them, and then they didn't acknowledge that 1 week notice. So they're given another 1 week warning strike now. So after this 1 week warning strike, if the government do not come up, they are afraid that they might go on strike. And we know what that means when we have the senior staff saying that they are going on the strike, and then non-academic staff also saying they're going on strike. That means it's going to be a total shutdown, and I know that's not what a number of people want. So I think it's at this point we're going to urge the government to please adhere to whatever warning, because there's nothing more we can say on the show beyond the fact that they are also equally staff of the universities. Therefore, I think it will only be nice if the Ministry of Labor will actually listen to them, and then whatever it's withheld will be given to them, so we can actually have peace, and then students can actually continue studying.
One of the special, covert trait of the Buhari's administration was that it was a very oppressive administration, and it was undemocratic. At some point, we might not want to agree to that fact, but it was one of its traits at that time. And anybody who tried to speak against the government, that's where the whole hate speech thing started. Anybody who tried to, challenge the government was tagged as HP. We could talk that about the hashtag EndSARS, and we could talk about many other oppression that we saw during that time. And I believe that this is one of it. We've had strike countless times in the country, and this is the first time we see people who went on strike not getting paid because they went on strike. And when one thing with strike is that people follow the due process when it comes to strike, and then it is for a reason. If as a government you didn't feel that, I keep saying it, that it's a reflection of your government. If you do not act, people will have to react for you to act upon their needs, and this is the result of it. So I'm just hoping that this renewed hope administration will not be an oppressive government.
True.
And being oppressive is you not paying these people. Listen to them. They had the right, civil right, by law to go on a strike, and there was never a place that said if you go on a strike you will not be paid. It started with an administration that shows oppression on a lot of level, because this union are saying they follow due process before going to strike. Therefore you have no rationale whatsoever to say we will not pay them. So let this renewed hope government not be an oppressive government. Give these people their wages, and then do what will make no union have a reason to go on strike whatsoever.
We look forward to a government that will do right by its people and
Yeah, we
also
hope so.
by its workers. Well, thank you so much,
You're
Rachel,
welcome,
for doing
Sarah.
this. And also thank you to our viewers, thank you to our supporters for keeping this moment with us on Nigeria Now. Until we come again tomorrow, to have a blessed day ahead.